Harsh light, bro. Maybe that's a little better. Hi, how's it going? Um, Here I am, Cowtown. Calgary. Sorry, checking something out. Show. There we go. Um, Hi, how's it going? Comic crack. Here in Calgary. Um, I came to Calgary for work. Um, had a chance to. It was actually a beautiful day out today, so I had a chance to kind of walk around. I did some work this morning. Had breakfast at the hotel, and then kind of took a cab right into the heart of kind of the area, Kensington Market-ish, to just walk. And I just walked around all day, which was great. I feel really great. That really helps. Any sort of, I've still been kind of experiencing some sciatica pain and back pains and stuff. I feel really good now. I walked, I don't remember how many kilometers, a whole hell of a lot. About 10,000 steps, which isn't a ton. I mean, I think they say you should try to walk that much a day, period. I know when I was working on set, there was some days where we were doing 16, 18,000 steps in a day. So it's not near what I have done, but it did help my leg. I did notice just the movement, especially where I was walking a lot of uphill walks and stuff, which we don't have hills in Winnipeg. Everything is straight. So it was nice. It was a nice day. Really great to experience Calgary. Um, so I had a couple of comic shops bookmarked that I wanted to check out. I'd contacted a couple of places through emails about a week, 2 weeks ago, just to kind of get a sense of what kind of stuff they carried. I was obviously one of the things I was looking for was back issues. Knowing a little bit more about Calgary that I do, that's not something that you're finding in Calgary. It's not that they don't exist. It's just it's not kind of their bread and butter, which explained a number of things. Um, Prices being one. Some of the back issues that I did look at, there was one shop in particular that I went to, Words and Pictures, and he had some back issues. The prices were a little steep on some of them. He didn't have like he had a fair amount, and there wasn't really much that I needed, to be fair. But some of the prices I saw on stuff were pretty uh, more than double. There were some books that he had more than double when I've seen them at home. Now, again, you're dealing with in Winnipeg. We've got quite a lot of comic shops, and we have more conventions coming up. So there's a lot of back issues in town. So you do have kind of a market where you have to compete to get your comics sold. In Calgary, especially talking to this guy, he's like, I probably have the store that has the most back issues. He said there's one other guy in town, but only opens up on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. He's got probably about equal the amount of back issues. And I mean, just from the little bit of research that I was doing beforehand and a couple of the other shops that I went to, he did have much more back issues than the two shops that I went to, that's for sure. And a variety of stuff too, like a bigger variety. Yeah, like I said, it's not that the comics were in horrible shape. They were all in really decent shape, but even for the shape that they were in, they were fairly pricey. But again, that makes sense if you're in a town where there's no back issues to be had. One thing that I did notice in Calgary that kind of took me by surprise, I visited 3 shops today, and every single one had European comics. Um, Not just humanoid stuff, but other publishers as well. And the first shop that I went to, if you follow me on Twitter, I posted a picture of it. They actually had a section dedicated to European artists, and that really surprised me. It's just not what I was expecting. And again, talking to one of the comic shop owners, they said there was a time where Marvel was distributing a lot of the European stuff, especially humanoids. once that kind of started folding, they started just putting these things on clearance. So these shops were able to buy large supplies of these books for super cheap. So they just did it. They went for it. Do they sell a lot of them? The individual I was talking to said they don't sell a ton of them, but they do sell some stuff. Sorry, distracted. TV. Have the phone plugged into the TV. They do sell some. I don't really know what their market is. Graphic novels, the quite a few like Marvel, DC graphic novels, and of course New Comic Book Day, stuff like that. There was one shop in town, I think it was called Phoenix, and they had 3 different locations. So I only visited, obviously, I visited one of the locations. Phoenix was one of them. Words and Pictures was another. And then was it Anything Goes, I think was the name of the other one. So I went to Anything Goes was the first place. And walking in there, I was really impressed just with the variety that they had. A pretty decent sized shop. But the variety was pretty outstanding. They had a section dedicated to Rick Veitch, which is crazy. And they had a section dedicated to kind of the artist editions. The difference for me personally that I haven't seen before is instead of them being packed up in those big cardboard boxes, the books were out. So you could flip through them, which is good for me, maybe not good for the person that actually wants to buy the book after everybody's been flipping through them. Just a really, really nice variety of like toys and comics and everything. So that's one place if you ever are in town in Calgary, I'd highly recommend checking that place out. They did have a back issue section. They had actually a pretty nice sized dollar book section, which I did find some books in the dollar bins, and I'll start with those. One of these I think I may already have, but I bought it again anyway. It's not a bad thing to have doubles of some of this stuff, especially because I can give them away. This is the one that I think I have doubles of. Jeremiah the Heir. This is issue number 2, and again, these are all dollar bin stuff. They were, for the most part, they were in kind of alphabetical order, but yeah, you still had to do a bit of digging, which isn't so bad. Jeremiah Birds of Prey, number 1. Jeremiah Birds of Prey, number 2. And I don't believe I have either of those. I haven't checked my CLZ app yet, but even if I do have 1 or 2 of those, it's not the end of the world. This is the one I'm 99% sure I don't have. The other 2 I'm not as certain. $1 a piece. I don't have this whole series of Starstruck, so I picked up a few issues of those since they were $1. Again, similar reasoning. If I have them, it's really okay. That's issue number 6. I think I might have, I don't think I collected this whole IDW series. I'll find out when I look at the app or when I get home. Number 6, number 7, and number 8. They had 1 issue of Sisterhood of Steel, which I am now fairly close to finishing. I think it was an 8-issue series. This is issue number 6. I think I got about half of them. So that's good. They had a couple of other epic titles there, though. I didn't want to stock up on dollar bins. This was the first shop that I went to, or dollar issues, rather. This was the first shop I went to, so I wanted to make sure that I kind of tried to pace myself, which didn't work, because I realized I have kind of a load to bring back now. This I couldn't pass up. Some more issues of 2001 Nights for $1 a piece, and again, when I've seen these in Winnipeg, the ones that I bought, I picked them up for $5 a piece. So that's great. It's a 10-issue series, and I managed to grab another, looks like 5 of them. Issue number 5. I have issue 1 to 3 already. Issue number 5, issue number 6, issue number 8, number 9, and the final one, number 10. I'm really, really excited for these. I had a feeling as I was going through these bins. I just had a feeling I'm gonna find 2001 Nights. I just know it. And lo and behold, there we were. They were kind of all mixed. They weren't all in one section. So when I did find those, I made sure that I did a really good flip through that section to make sure I didn't miss any. So that's great. Buck a piece. You can't go wrong. There was a couple of other, or there was one more dollar bin. They had some magazine dollar bins as well. So this is a non-sport update for non-sport cards, trading cards with some Jay Lynch on the front. So it was the only one that they had, the only issue, but I figured I couldn't leave that behind. So I grabbed that. They also had a 50% off section with some great stuff, including Johnny Dynamite by Max Allan Collins and Terry Beattie, the duo that just keeps popping up for me. So I couldn't pass that up. They had it listed at $20, so 50% off, $10. I'll take it. Mind the Comics. Hi, how are you doing? Then they had a couple of issues of the Comics Journal for 50% off. They only had these two. I bought them both. Even though it's a bit of later era stuff, that's okay. I haven't really, I just kind of got home or back to the hotel, so I haven't really looked through anything yet. So Comics Journal number 283 and Comics Journal number 278. Again, super thick issues. So the cover price on these is $12 Canadian. So for $6, I'll take them. A couple more to the collection and flip through these. Bill Willingham on the front of that one. What's on the front of this one? Louis Trondheim. Yeah, so that'll be cool. Paul Pope's Batman Year 100. So that's pretty great. And then the last couple of things from this shop. And this first one I sort of kick myself because the next shop I went to, they had all of the, hey Volstix, how's it going, man? At the next shop that I went to, they had this same book, but the next shop, they were selling all of their hardcovers and soft covers at the US cover price. So this one is $19.99 US, $25.99 Canadian. So at the second shop, they were selling it for $19.99 Canadian. So, you know, I could have saved myself $5, but I couldn't pass it up. Scoyton and Peters, The Obscure Cities, Samaris. I have one of these thinner volumes that our friend Earl Grey sent to me in German. And it's beautiful to look through, no doubt about it. It's nice to have this edition in English, though, so I can read the whole story. And again, I mean, I've talked about his art before. Really, really love it. They had a couple of his books, actually. Again, that European section was just really impressive. It's just, there was so much I didn't really know what to pick. And I kind of wish I would have, I don't know, I wish I would have had more time, more money, more whatever. But I mean, I know if I ever come back, I know the spots to hit, and I know where to get some European comics. And then something that I missed when it came out, yeah, so it was, so there you go, it's Another Dimension Comics. It was the name of this place there. I kept one of their things. Something that I missed last year when it came out. Number 1 of Boy Max Immortal. So that's pretty great. And like I said, just the fact that they had, whoops, sorry, that's in the way. Just the fact that they had a Veitch section was pretty great. But I was aware that this was coming out. I don't know how I missed it, but I missed it. But now I got it. 100 pages, $10, bunch of sketches at the back. and then a story. So I'm really looking forward to digging into that one. That's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. I'll move some of this stuff out of the way. So that was the first place. The second spot, like I said, had it was a bit of a smaller spot, and I think I said it already. It was Phoenix Comics. Bit of a smaller location. They had a lot of they did a lot of like Magic the Gathering type of stuff too, but they had a downstairs where there was some sale items, and that's where they had most of the manga as well. And then upstairs is where they had the majority of like the newer comics and the trades, both soft cover and hardcover. Trying to open this so we can actually have a look together because I'm curious as well. There was 2 editions of this. So again, this was the place where you're charged the US price just in Canadian. So instead of, this one would have been what, $33 Canadian. It was $24.95 Canadian. Barbarella. I've wanted this edition for a while, or one of these editions. This is a newer. It's a little bit of a smaller book. They had the other edition there as well, and it contains the same stories. It's just a tiny bit of a bigger volume, and it was about $10 more expensive. So I went with this one. Yeah, so the black and white edition includes the original book, Barbarella, followed by its sequel, The Wrath of the Minute Eater, from Humanoids. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. This is going to be great. Yeah, I mean, it's something that I've wanted to check out. I do have the first couple of issues of the newer series that's coming out too, which I do enjoy. But I've seen this in a few places recently, and it always jumps off the shelf at me into my hands as I check it out and hope that I find it for cheap. So I think this is probably the cheapest that I'm going to find it. So I figured I would just go for it and give it a shot. So there you go. Hardcover, Barbarella. Oh, look at this, hey? Even got a little bookmark in there. Fantastic. Love it. That's beautiful. Really beautiful looking book. And then the other one that I took a shot on, Jodorowsky's The Techno Priests, Book 1, Initiation. And what did this run me? So $14.95 Canadian instead of $22.95. So there you go. Saving $6 right there, which is pretty damn good. The art in this is just incredible. It's really beautiful. I know that I've seen it before, but again, it's something that I don't see much of in Winnipeg. This type of stuff, which is also part of the problem with picking this stuff up, getting hooked on it, and then not being able to find it. I was hoping, since they had this pretty sizable humanoid section, I was hoping that I would find the complete White Llama. They did have the complete Bouncer, but it was just too much money. I didn't want to spend that much. It was still like $60 kind of thing. I wanted kind of a variety of stuff as opposed to like one big book. But I was really hoping to find the complete White Llama, because out of the 2 of those that I started reading recently, the White Llama is the one that I really want to read more of. The third location that I went to, which was Words and Pictures, yeah, the White Llama, the first volume, I really, really liked. It hooked me kind of immediately. The third place that I went to, this Words and Pictures, he also had a European section, and he was kind of surprised. Because I was telling him, I said, what is it with Calgary with these Euro comics? And then he kind of told me the story. He was even surprised that he thought that he was the only one who had European comics. And I let him know, no, there's a lot of people. And I said, this is what they're doing for the prices at the other one too, which wasn't a lie. I shared it with him. He had more of the White Llama, the versions that I have more of the volumes. But what I'm quickly coming to discover is a lot of this stuff for humanoids comes out in those nice editions, like the oversized editions. There's nothing wrong with them, but then they also come out as this one collected edition. So it's like, which version would I prefer to read? Each one where it's kind of this oversized hardcover edition, or just one big volume where I get all the stories and kind of save a couple of bucks. Yeah, so he was nice enough to cut me a bit of a deal too, which was really great of him. He didn't have to, he did. So that was really nice. I picked up a few things. Challengers of the Unknown. What number is this? Sorry, I don't have my glasses. Number 81. One of the, I think the only one that I was missing from that kind of last kind of story arc or whatever. So that was great. The Magic Flute, P. Craig Russell, book 1 and book 2 for $3 a pop. So that's pretty nice. Feels like it just keeps jumping up for me when I go in and look for comics. So that was book 1. This is book 2. And again, they're kind of this, I don't know what you call these kind of editions or whatever, like the Elseworlds and stuff. Yeah, they had more of P. Craig Russell stuff. I think they had a collected. I think he had a collected hardcover edition as well too, and he actually had 2 sections that were kind of stacked with European artists' comics, which was just very cool. Again, it's the last thing that I expected coming to Calgary. I assumed that I was going to come and maybe find some back issues and fill in some gaps. You know, I had in the back of my head that I would find, you know, some Spectre, some Dead Man. I was hoping to kind of cross the last few Defenders books off the list. But it just wasn't the way, and it was just all this, the kind of focus on independent and smaller press and European and that sort of thing was just way more than I thought. And again, it's not that I thought who in Calgary is going to read that stuff. I just was surprised. I guess part of it was that I just didn't think that would be the market here. Goes to show how wrong I am, or maybe I'm right, because maybe this stuff has been sitting on the shelves for a long time. Managed to fill in a few more gaps of my Legends of the Dark Knight. I think I'm just a couple of issues away now from completing this whole run. 3-4 issues, something like that. 156. You know, could I have found these in town if I would wait a little longer? Sure, maybe I could, but they were there. They were $3 a pop. Plus, then, like I said, he knocked some money off at the end, so that's fine. 166. 171. I don't want to maybe necessarily focus on these too much because they're not as thrilling. 174. I did bite the bullet on this one, even though it was a little pricier. It's in beautiful condition, and with some of this series, some of the higher quality ones I have seen have been right around this price range. So I didn't think this was too out of control. This is Marvel Collector's Item Classics number 6 for 15 bones, which again isn't you know, that's kind of top of my comfort zone for buying issues of this. But like I said, I have seen some stellar, like it's really, really nice. I don't know if that's coming across on this camera here with this shitty lighting, but it's in beautiful shape. So I don't mind that. I think I'm missing only a couple of issues of that now to be done that volume. I picked this up because it's Tundra and because of this first cover. I don't know what it is. Like I said, I haven't opened it up. Maybe let's open it up right now. What does this say here? So it's book 2 and book 3 of something called Silicon Horizon from Tundra by, oh man, I can't read that. I can't read the signature there. But I saw this cover. This one he had priced at $1. Again, so It's $1. It's a cover that looks pretty awesome. Why the hell not? Give it a try. Don't know anything about it. The back cover kind of intrigued me as well too. So we'll see how dirty or not this is. Whoa. Looks kind of cool though. Looks kind of great. Anybody watching know anything about this? Feel free to jump in and share your knowledge. And if you do type something and I don't see it and I don't respond, just type it again. Oh yeah, well I see why this one was $1. The pages are a tiny bit sticky at a couple of points here, but that's okay. Kind of cool looking art though. I don't mind that at all. What year are we looking here? 1992. Story by Fora and Bergeron. Art by Fora. Script by Bergeron. If that's how you say the name. So that's, what did I say, volume 2? Oh, and I think it's also got a signature there too. It's got a signature on both of them, which I guess that's cool. I mean, I don't know who the hell they are, so it doesn't really mean too much to me right now. And then issue 3. Yeah, it looks like some chalk, white chalk highlights there, which is kind of cool. Yes, it is, yeah. Oh, Bourgeon, maybe it is. I don't know, let me have another look at that. That's a good point. Maybe I'll try to hold it up so you can see it. There you go, can you see that? Bergeron. Yeah, so that might be all right. We'll see. And then last but not least, again, out of the stuff that he had, I figured this one was pretty cheap, $8 for a hardcover. I don't know anything about it. I flipped through it. It had boobies. I got it. And it's called Lost in Time. Just a hardcover. Forrest Gillon. So is that? Yes, Jean-Claude Forrest and Paul Gillon, with a foreword by Alex Toth, or Toth. The inside front cover there, pretty great. This one I did flip through. So I sort of want to tell a story, and I sort of don't want to tell a story because it's kind of painful. So in this section where he had these books, all right, I'm going to tell the story as painful as it is. In this section where he had these books, he had some Blueberry. He had those epic comic ones. And I kind of was like, oh shit, that's great. I just recently made a deal with the guy in town he has a ton, which you'll see that video at some point. Like, he's got a shitload. I couldn't get it all just because of kind of price. It came to a point, it's like, this is as much as I can comfortably do. And we've worked out a deal, blah, blah, blah. But I worked out a deal. Hey, Damien, how's it going? I worked out a deal with him, and I got the deal with him. It's written down. I agreed. He agreed. We're good. He expects the sale. I've made the sale. So I go to this goddamn shop in fucking Calgary, of all places, and wouldn't you know it, there's a bunch of, well, maybe 4 Mobius, those epic comics. Marshall Blueberry, Inkle 3, and then two Lieutenant Blueberry books. Good morning, Thomas Churchill. So I look at them and I kind of pull them out and have a kind of a little flip through them, expecting to see a sticker on the back that says, you know, $40 or whatever, or sort of writing inside $40. There's no writing. I put them back on the shelf because I just don't even want to ask. So I just can't. I can't help it. I take him up to the front and I say, so these ones here, they were on the shelf. And at first he was like, oh, those were out there on the shelf? I'm like, yes. So in my head, I'm like, yes, they were out there on the shelf. Yes. How much are you charging for these? Um, Always like, oh, as he's kind of walking back with me, and I show him where they were. He's like, oh no, those are good there. Those are in the right spot. No, I'm just charging cover price by those. Seriously, just cover price. Just what the cover was back when they came out, whatever that price was. That's what he's charging for them. And I just kind of groaned. He's like, do you need those? I'm like, no, I don't need those. I've got those. And I didn't pay cover price for the ones I've got as well. And that's the kind of thing, it's just notoriously tough to find that stuff, and when you do, it always is really pricey. Now, all that said, this is the end of the day. I'm not dropping money on them to kind of flip them. I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't. At my limit, not going to go over. Not going to take the chance. It's just going to be a hassle to try to sell them. But it was just one of those moments. I don't have many of those moments. I've been really fortunate with my comic buying lifespan that when I've bought stuff, it's been for good prices. I haven't then gone somewhere else and found it for like half the price or 3 times the price of what I've paid for it. You know what I mean? So this was the only time. So I still consider that a win. And he was very nice. He was very funny. He's like, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you that I'm going to charge X amount of money for them. And that's what I'm going to do. As soon as you leave here, I'm putting stickers on those things, and I'm going to, each of them are going to be worth X amount of dollars. I'm like, that's great. That helps. Thank you very much. He was a super nice guy, really, really funny, but that one kind of stung. So anyway, that was it. Sorry to those of you who just showed up. That really was the end of it. Go back in time once I turn off the live feed and watch again, and you'll see kind of the fun that I had today. The other thing, yeah, no, there's no other thing. Just that Calgary was great. Just surprised. I'll just show this last one again because this one kind of impressed me a little bit. The imagery was pretty great. The coloring was pretty great. It's just cool finding this kind of stuff. I don't know what it's like where everybody else. Oh yes, Nerdivision, you absolutely will see me there on Sunday. I've got a table. The guy that I have a table with, he had to back out, unfortunately. So it's just going to be me at the table, which is good and bad. I'm going to try to, like I head back home. I head back to Winnipeg tomorrow morning. So when I get back, it's going to be, most of the stuff is put together already, but I've just got to price some things, and it's going to be priced to sell. So I will definitely see you there. I'm hoping that I have some success at the show. Yeah, so this looks really good. I might actually, this one I might read tonight. It's a thinner volume. Yeah. And what is that? Is that NBN? Yeah. Nantier Beal Minnestushin Publishing Co., New York. And this is a company, a publishing company that I saw a number of times today at all of the locations. So Lost in Time, Labyrinths, book number 1. The only book that they had. They didn't have any other volumes, just this one. There you have it, peeps. Thanks very much for tuning in. And yeah, I'll talk to you, I don't know, next week probably. Maybe after the con on Sunday, depending on how that goes. There is some stuff coming in the mail. I made a bunch of sales online actually lately, which is surprising. Hey G Don, how are you? A number of sales online, which is great. The PayPal account was pretty stacked full, so I picked up some stuff myself online and still have a pretty nice balance in the PayPal account. I don't know what it was. It just seemed like there was a couple of days in a row there where bang, bang, I just got hits, different people, different stuff, and moved things out the door. So I'm hoping that kind of continues at the convention. It would be great to get the boxes of comics that my brother wants me to sell, get those out of the house, because they're just an eyesore. Every time I walk by them, they're just a pain in the ass at this point. So if you do come Nerdivision, there's going to be a bunch of Spider-Man. Let's just put it to you that way, and it's going to be affordable. Yeah, anyway, okay. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you later.